Yeah, I mean, man, I love that. There's no play at all. That's just so awesome. Okay, so um, one other thing I wanted to explain to you guys is, so these actuators are actually, for some reason, they're advertised as the same length and everything, but when we some of the ones we get, they're actually bigger and wider or longer as far as eye to eye. So you'll notice that this one, I actually had to shave this corner down with my Dremel, kind of round it over there, so the plate can go all the way over. This was more so done with the Kubota, the KX080, because the undercarriage is essentially the same on the Kubota. It goes together the same. The sprockets are the same. The only difference in it is just this face here. It's different with the cat, of course, versus the Kubota. The blade is exactly the same. They didn't look so they didn't look too different as far as the model, so I just used the same blade. But again, I had to shave this down for the Kubota. So on the cat version, you don't. You can see it clears it, massively. I can almost get my whole finger through there. Okay, so this is going to be the one of your major hurdles here is getting this done. All right, so now that we have this done, what I'm going to do is go ahead and continue with getting. I'm going to get the arms done, and essentially get the hydraulics and stuff installed. Okay, so how I'm going to do that here is a little different than how you guys are, because you don't have yours installed yet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my arm on, and then for you guys, what you'll do is get your cylinders installed. Okay, get the cylinders installed in place. Okay, make sure they're moving with zero, relatively no resistance as far as the cylinders moving up and down. All right, and then this is how I did mine. So I had my arm installed. Okay, and then what I did is I mounted my valve and mounted my pump here. I mounted those and got them into place, and then I figured out how long my line from my pump to my valve was, and then I got those cut, and then I actually took them back out and got them together outside of this. Okay, and I did the same exact thing with the arm, the cylinders here. Okay, so what I did is got the tubing all hooked up on the cylinders, and then ran my lines back, made it a little bit long, and then again I took everything back out, and then I kind of eyeballed where it needed to be, and then I cut my hose length and got it together, and then put it back in just like kind of how I'm going to show you here. Okay, so this is what it would look like. You kind of have all this. So normally this would be glued together, but this is actually such a short distance that it's not necessary. All right, so what we got to do is get our hose past this.
Let's see.
All right, boom. Okay, so we have that done. Okay, so now we just got to get our lines past this guy here. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend that up a little bit. All right, well, I didn't have this on until after I did the arms anyways, so hopefully you guys don't have yours on yet. So then we can go ahead and get everything into position here. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and take our arm pin. Let me just make sure that this is the right one. Okay, so then you're gonna take your 3mm by 35, 3 mil by 35 millimeter. Boom. Okay, so we have our arm. We have our arm in place. A lot of wobble there. Looks like there was supposed to be room for a bearing. Maybe just the use of it. This is almost a year old now. Yeah, it's got to be for a bearing. I'm gonna see if I can. See if I have a 35. Yep. All right, so that's 35 right there. Yeah, it should. I think mine has just. There's no other thing in here but the bearings in the arm, and I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be bearings here, and I don't have any more bearings, so I'm gonna add those later. If you have bearings, add those to this arm. I gotta update that, and that's just to for the pin to have something else to wear on as a part, or excuse me, to rub on as opposed to the plastic, because the plastic isn't gonna, it's not gonna work. It's gonna wobble just like mine is. All right, so for the sake of me doing this and not wanting to hold that arm, I'm gonna put my where is that pin? Oh, there it is. All right, then I'm gonna take my my 3 millimeter by 17 millimeter, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my cylinder in here. Okay, and I'm just gonna take my pin here, or excuse me, my pin hold, and we'll screw that in. That just locks it in place here. Okay, so your arm should be done, and then you just need to go ahead and start to mount your hydraulics here. So for this, what I'm gonna do is get my pump in, and what I ended up doing for this is the pump actually just kind of sits in place in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and kind of get it aligned here, And again, you're gonna mount it to your pump mount. Okay, and I'm gonna try and slide it in, and you'll notice that it kind of stops. All right, what I'm doing is wrapping the power cables. I'm putting it underneath this this fitting here, just to kind of get it under there, or excuse me, get this to fit inside here. Okay, so we'll get it to go over those, and then I'm gonna go ahead and lift up on these two panels here, or these two parts. And I'm actually bending. You can see I'm bending them up a little bit, and that's gonna go ahead and allow me to get this to go all the way in there. Whoa. All right, because you want your pump to go all the way back, just like that. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and get these to pop back down, and then that's how that is. So that's how I got mine to go in. All right, and these hoses, I think I actually had those hoses. Yeah, just like that. And then when this piece was in, helps pull that down. Yep, just like that. Okay, so we got our pump in there. All right, and then you want to make sure that you fill up that pump with oil first. And you're actually going to have to test all of it before you get in here, because you're going to fill up that reservoir with oil, and then when you turn it on, you're gonna actually, all that oil is going to go into the cylinders, so you're going to have to fill it up again. So before you do all of this, fill that up with oil, power it on. You don't need any of the other ESCs hooked up. Okay, just get your brushless ESC, and then plug it into your receiver, and then turn that pump on, and then get those the cylinders flowing and moving, and then fill those up, and then again just get this and make sure it's full. Once it's full, put the lid back on, or the cap, and then you can get to this point. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my ESC underneath here. So it's I say underneath, but it's actually going to get kind of jammed inside there, or on the side here. I want to use something to keep this side from moving. Oh yeah. Hey, man. All right, boys. This is kind of where I'm at with it right now. So what I'm going to do is just kind of do a little bit of testing and see if I can get this to fit. Get these antennas in here. All right, so, yep, I can get it to work out. I'm gonna go ahead and try and screw this in real quick. First, I'm gonna screw in the this plate here for the valve. These are the ones I was just using for the valve body. Those are M3 or M2 by 10, and these are going to be the M2 by 8 for the actual body and panel back here. So I'm just going to get one screw there to hold it, and then I'm going to go over here, and then we'll push, if I can, push on it, and come right here and get our screw in. Oh goodness. I actually need to make the cab turn, so I'm gonna get just the one here, and then we'll come back to those other two. That should hold on to the cab though really nicely for right now. And then this is gonna allow me to kind of get my electronics in a little bit better of a position. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue right there. A little bit of accelerator. Yeah, because we want this to be flush to this outside here, just like that. We can check with this door as well. Well, it's actually just a little too far down, but I'm okay with that. I don't really move this door out of the way anyways. I'd rather that door be stuck just like that. All right, so we have our electronics in. All right, and then this area is going to be for our battery. Okay, so what I'm going to do, oh, I was like, wait, where's the other part? And then, yeah, we don't have enough room for the lights on our receiver here, so we're just going to let these dangle in there for right now. I don't really use the lights on this machine anyway, so I just like to dig with it. Okay, so if you've gotten to this point and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get our magnets in here. The easiest way to do it is set your magnets inside here and then set another magnet on top of each one, because that's the way that you want them to be oriented. And then go ahead and grab your cab and set it in place here. Okay, so you'll go ahead and get it up in here, right? And then you'll push down, get this front end in, at an angle, and then go down just like that, and then push. And then you'll push as hard as you can, not as hard as you can, but push, push, push. And then that should put the magnets, get them in line, right? And then go ahead and take them out, and then take it out, and then go ahead and get your magnets pressed back in there.